Okay. Okay. I'm so scared. Okay. Hi, Alan. Thank you so much for making your time to this interview. And I'm gonna do a very short interview for my leadership and decision-making assignment. And I'd love to get your insight based on your experience, and it should take around 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah. So
Sure.
the first question would be, how would you describe the way you lead your team?
I think, of course, leaders have many styles, and we have seen very successful world leaders, even around the world, and all the successful companies.
Mm-hmm.
They all did very differently. But the style that I like to use is leadership by example. Yeah. So if you want me to coin it into that term, I will put it
Okay.
very simply like that. Yeah.
So, can you share how this style influences your team works or how individuals respond to you?
Sure. So when a leader leads by example, the natural response, the staff or your team members will usually be more motivated when they're
Mm-hmm.
handling challenges because there is a living reference
Yeah,
beside
yeah.
them. Yeah.
So, next one is, does the way you lead change depending on the situation or the team you have and why?
Yes, definitely. Because the situation will shape the way a leader approach a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you an example. When COVID-19 hit, everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
I said everything, it means the way we work.
Yeah.
Where last time, back in our office, we used to see our colleagues very often.
Mm-hmm.
So leadership, revolves around those kind of styles where
Uh-huh.
you get to feel and then empathize with the person because the person is just right next to you, in front of you. But COVID-19 stopped that entirely. So it basically blocks everyone's access to the office. So a
Mm-hmm.
leader must adapt his ways to demonstrate his leadership through examples, I think even more,
Mm-hmm.
but slightly different way. So what we did last time was I actually created much more engagements than the past, initiated more team meetings um, on Zoom, and then use better productivity tools with staff. So staff, they have better visibility over activities, what's happening in the team.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Okay.
important,
Yeah.
visibility. Yeah. So a leader has to own that process, yeah, instead of letting things just happen on its own.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
COVID-19 is definitely not a natural thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, next one is, how do you think your leadership affects your team's behavior or how they work together?
Mm. Staff demonstrates team qualities by example to their peers um, and their clients, right? Because Wuxi is a service company, so demonstrating good quality service is basically a cornerstone to our business. So when the leader and the staff embodies and practice these qualities, um, such leadership, I believe, will form the foundation to a team culture. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is something I think your course probably talk about. It's a very mysterious thing, culture, right? Somebody would top down say that we're gonna do all these things, but if the leader doesn't walk the talk,
Yeah.
the culture won't stick. Yeah. So
Mm,
only when you see people practicing it, when you see maybe majority of the team practice it, then you will start to see the culture forming. Even within a group of friends, I believe this phenomenon also happen the same way.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does. Okay, could you give an example of when your leadership helped the team succeed or caused any challenges?
Yeah, sure. What I can think of, maybe this happened actually quite recently.
Mm-hmm.
A consultant was under a lot of stress,
Mm.
because her meetings are often overextending past her schedules, and she's panicking because she's losing control, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I gave her a theory class. I told her to come in and understand what's the situation. And when she explained it to me, immediately I know it's a time management problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I taught her how to handle better time management. Um, and I gave her some space to observe how she digests my briefing. But often I would find myself also spending some time to show her how I handle time management myself. So, for example, I would join her. I would invite her to join my meetings, and or I take over some of her meetings. Yeah. So what I did is I instruct her very clearly to say that you observe how I handle, especially the little things. Um, how I handle these situations better, different from her. So after those meetings, I'll have like a post-mortem with her to digest, reflect back what we
Mm,
have actually learned. I think that's the kind of learning that happens most effective if it's
mm-hmm,
on the job. Yeah, but on the leadership end is one of those examples of leading by example because the
mm,
staff they can actually see that a leader is
mm,
actually demonstrating the qualities that he preach. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
so there's a lot of impact to
mm.
that.
So it's like a leadership is like more like a role model lah.
Yeah, very much, yes. I think to put it in a very simple analogy, like for example, trends,
Mm,
like
mm,
fashion, all these kind
yeah.
of things. You can tell someone to wear clothes in a certain way or to dress up in a certain way. Usually at parents lah, right?
Mm, yeah.
But seldom you will listen. Why? Children. Back then, even when I was teenager, when I was younger, I find it very reluctant to listen to people who just say,
Mm.
but they don't actually do.
Oh yeah.
But when we look at our idols, like the people on like K-pop
Mm-hmm.
or let's say Hollywood, they don't even need to say anything, but by just acting in a certain way that we find pretty cool,
Mm.
right? Then we will somehow gravitate towards that kind of
Yeah.
trend. So those are called trendsetters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you really look into it, those little non-verbal things, they are basically leadership by example. Those are
Mm.
the elements that I felt. And if right now, if you're moving into the leadership role, I believe if you use those elements towards your leadership style, I believe it will have definitely a significant impact lah. Yeah, so this
Okay.
is something I learned and
Mhm.
it shaped my leadership style quite a lot.
Okay. Next one is there a clear process you follow or like you just follow your gut instinct?
Mm, I think I use something called a systems thinking
Mm-hmm.
because leaders, they build their instinct around experience. So, but to me, what I would preach is support your instinct with data and evidence because
Mm.
if you don't
Yeah.
have a lot of experience, your instinct might not really be accurate lah. So you need to
Mm.
really navigate carefully. But after with experience, your instinct will become more and more refined. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So so system thinking is something that I would use a lot. So what it means is you look at things in the big picture, understand how things really work, and then you prioritize your tasks. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is what's the toughest decision you've ever had to make when or face as a manager?
I think one of the toughest decision is when you have to ask one of your staff or your members as a leader, you have to ask them to leave, right? So you
Oh
terminate them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So because why? Terminating a staff, no matter who it is, even if it's a not so performing team member, you definitely affect the morale of the whole team. Yeah. Because imagine five members suddenly become four. 20% of the manpower is gone,
Mm,
like
yeah.
overnight. So, so, um, so as a leader, I had to communicate this process very clearly to all staff, lah, so everyone knows what's going on, and also to vent out all the possibility of gossips because gossips happen,
Yeah.
and that would lead into office politics. Yeah, so
Mm.
as a leader, it's important to own that process and really manage it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next one is what's one lesson you have learned from this tough decision?
one lesson I've learned is I think communication. Uh, I think being clear in your communication is a crucial skill as a leader because in a team, um, we understand that the vibe of the team and the mood of the team is contributed by everyone.
Mm.
Everyone, even one person, if he's feeling down, the rest of the people will feel it, right? But the although everybody contributes to the vibe, but the
Mm.
leader is the one who drives it. Yeah. So how to drive it in a way you want, you have to communicate this very clearly. You have to say,
Yeah.
okay, now we're gonna stop this uh procrastination. Okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna start doing some do some true action, and the leader has to make that call. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. So did it change how you lead and make decisions now?
Yes, yes, very much. I take communication very, very seriously. In fact, I train young managers now,
Mm-hmm.
and usually it's one of those recurring themes that I keep repeat lah. Uh, because communication touch on many things. Yeah, it touch on not just self-management but also empathy,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you want to communicate empathy, you gotta message, you gotta send the right message out to people,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so it's I believe it's like a central part, a central skill that every leader should have. Yeah, I don't think I see any leader without good communication. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Last question is, because you've said that you're currently like teaching like younger managers, is there
Mhm.
one piece of advice you would give them if they were to lead a team tomorrow?
Yes, yes. I find a lot of young leaders now, they they take leadership for granted.
Mm.
Meaning, uh, like let's say in Monash last time, right? I
Mm.
used to join clubs, so it's easy to get those titles like club president, vice
Yeah.
president, head of this, head of that. But those are assigned to you. Yeah. But
Mm.
I believe someone won't be a true leader if the leadership is not earned. Yeah, if you
Mm.
don't earn the respect of your members, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although you might be the president of the club, but people won't listen to you.
True, true,
Yeah,
true.
so leadership is earned, it's not given. So someone can be assigned a leader, but it won't guarantee a good job lah. So unless the leader learns the right skills to lead a team. Yeah, so I think leadership is the skills come first, and then the leader will come naturally. I don't think it's the other way around. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so is this the advice that you wish that someone had told you earlier?
Oh yes, yes. I wish I've learned this earlier. Actually, I was also quite I thought if in the past, if let's say there was another Alan, if let's say I was in your position, I wish there was
Okay.
another person right now able to share all this info with me, because it would help me think avoid a lot of pitfalls lah. Yeah, a lot of
Mm.
pitfalls. I wish someone would have told me like think about how you can, like, instead of protecting your own interests, like, because sometimes we want something, we only think of what we want, right?
Mm.
So instead,
Yeah.
think about how you can add value to the other person, how you can help your other team members to solve their problems, and then make them. It doesn't mean make them feel good, but how you can make them do their task better, help the team in entire. So you look at it from a system point of view, system
Mm.
thinking, and also practice how you intend to communicate your message. Yeah, so if I would have known this earlier, I would have done a lot of things differently lah. A lot of life
Mm.
decisions would have been a lot different. Yeah.
Okay. That's it. This is the end of the interview. Thank you again for
Oh,
sharing
okay.
your experiences.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
this has been really helpful for my assignment and my personal learning also. Okay.
That's good. That's good.